Hey guys, before we get started, you're gonna have to forgive me for my groggy voice. I am so sick right now, so I apologize in advance for how annoyingly I sound. So, sorry about that. Anyway, enjoy the video. Marvel Rivals is the all-new, all-cool hero shooter that is going to absolutely destroy Overwatch 2 and take all my money. It's got a killer cast, amazing locations, team synergy, what a concept. And fair is this the right script? Fair monetization? Oh, this game is already better than Overwatch and it hasn't even come out yet. If you haven't heard of Marvel Rivals, it has taken the internet by storm with its gameplay actually not being trashed. Not to mention the base inclusion of 6v6 gameplay, incredible voice acting, beautiful UI, menus, and awesome character design. One character in particular has an amazing swappable cosmetic.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
An original design was added to the game called Spider-Punk 2099, which is just awesome. I can't believe how cool it looks. When I heard they'd be adding original designs, I got a little worried. Obviously, the designs of these characters is not bad by any metric, as you can clearly see. But when it comes to game original designs, well, let's just say the devs don't always cook with Spider-Man. But man, oh man, I was so happy to be wrong about this. Spider-Punk 2099 looks great, and has honestly become one of my favorite suits. Got me thinking though, this is a live service game, so why not add more? So that's what I've been obsessing about for the past few days. Or weeks. Months? It can't have been years, but... Wait, could it? I've compiled a list now of some of my top picks for a new set of outfits. I've tried to scour my brain for all my favorite suits throughout the years and tried my best to give the top picks some variation, though I'm sure it's a bit redundant at times. As a Spider-Man fan, I have my preferences, but I'm not going to make it your duty to have to like them all. So just know that these are all my opinions, and whether or not these get added will not affect how much I like the game. Matter of fact, I'd love to see them add a bunch of curveball ones that I don't expect. But keep in mind, I'm sure there's a lot of similarities in my picks. I know I love the black and the red and the blues, so it's gonna get a bit repetitive. First though, let me mention some suits that didn't make my top 10, but that I wouldn't mind getting in the game. I'll go through these pretty quickly, so if you want a better look at them or more information about them, do it yourself, I don't care. Spider Armor Mark 1, Spider Armor Mark 3, Spider Noir, Spirit Spider, Undies, Bombastic Bagman, Night Monkey. Wait, is that all? I thought I had more than that. Anyway, with all those out of the way, let's get to the real list. My top 10, if you will, and you will. This is my videos, not your sit down. No. Coming in at number 10, we have the Aaron Ackman suit. This is from one of the Edge of Spider-Verse comics. From my knowledge, it hasn't been featured in anything but the Edge of Spider-Verse comics, though I think it's also in the Spider-Man video game. I really like this suit. I know it's kind of bulky near the bottom, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do like the kind of, it almost gives like Mega Man vibes or like Speed Racer vibes. Looks like a biker outfit, and I like that a lot. I'm a huge fan of the big eyes and the little slit eyes on the forehead and the sides, making it resemble more of a real spider. I think its cut, edgy style and octagonal patterns would work really well in Marvel Rivals with its kind of edgy art style. Not edgy in the sense that it's like,
this is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
It's kind of edgy, but like more like when you stub your toe, that kind of edge, that kind of edgy. That's what I mean. Overall, I like this suit a lot. I love that they keep putting it in these games. I actually just looked it up in the middle of talking about it. It looks so good in Spider-Man 2, and I really hope to see it in Marvel Rivals. It'd be really dope. At number 9, we have Arachnite, and to be completely frank, the design is awesome. I mean, I can go on for days about why I like this suit. I think the cape is awesome, even though I think capes on Spider-Man is a cardinal sin. Can't help but agree with Peter.
And it's a no on the cape.
I think it's cool.
Take that off. It's disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape.
But also just because it brings all the good elements of Moon Knight's design and brings it in. I like the white contrasting with the red and the darker tones of it all. I don't know if this is present just because it's a comic and the shading is different, but I do like the black accents. If they got rid of that, I think it would still look good. Overall, I think this would look really good again in Marvel's Rivals art style, which I think it would fit quite nicely. But yeah, overall, I just think it's a really good suit. Yeah, I wouldn't even mind if they put it over Moon Knight. Like, maybe pull a fast one on us and instead of giving it to Spider-Man, give it to Moon Knight. Either one would be pretty cool. Number 8, we have the Iron Spider. Whoa, okay, whoa.
You need to leave!
Not you, MCU. Go crawl back into the basement where I left you. That was a close one. I'm so sorry about that, folks. Anyway, without further ado, please welcome the real Iron Spider, the one from the comic books. Come on over here, Pete. There we go, much better. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the MCU Spider-Man is so ugly. I like this one way better. This gold and reddish color scheme works so well. Is that red or is it orange? I genuinely don't know. Either way, I think it plays really well into the kind of Iron Man sort of aesthetic that they had going. It just looks really cool. I don't really know what to say about this that hasn't been said already. I mean, it's a really nice costume. I love the legs, though I wouldn't mind if they didn't include that in the actual base game. Maybe make it some kind of, I don't know, team up power. Either way, I don't care. It just looks cool. And yeah, as long as we don't get the, okay, well, fingers crossed, I guess. At number 7, we have the 2099 white suit, donned by Miguel O'Hara in the comic books, and donned by Peter Parker in the Spider-Man 2. Why did I write it like that? Yes, Loco? Is there something that you would like to share with the class?
Hello. Hi. Hello. The aforementioned Loco speaking here. I'd like to take a moment and say that I personally disagree with the ranking. However, with all the tender loving and kindness within my little heart, I humbly accept this blasphemy. Miguel O'Hara, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, has an amazing design with his original black, and you heard me, black suit, and the much lighter white, which just appears in the 2014 run. Speaking of his white suit, it includes the most tantalizing colors known to man, which are white, red, and black, thus making for a rather interesting combatant cosmetic. Alas, this shan't be what I monologue about. Oh, no. This suit could possibly end up being a simple yet effective purchase to equip to your beloved webbed warrior later down the line. It should be kept in mind that Marvel Rivals is set in the year of our totalitarian dictator, Dr. Doom 2099. And there is a fat chance that Miguel shows up one way or another. And in my opinion, the white suit would be the most likely contestant out of the two that he is shown wearing in the comic runs and in some of the games as well. Miguel's white suit has become a bit of an icon, I must say, since it is rather interesting to look at any given point in time, considering that it is a little bit...
I think we both know that that's enough out of her. Back to talking about the suit. This suit has a lot going for it. First of all, it's got the similar face shape, to eye shape, there's no face. A similar eye shape to Miguel O'Hara, which I really like. His eyes are just so, they're fascinating. They're kind of almost enchanting even. I could just stare into them for hours. But alongside that, it's also got a really good color scheme going for it. And maybe it's just because I'm colorblind and I can't really appreciate the full scope of other Spider-Man suits, but I do like the muted grayish and white colors that go with this one. The deeper red is also quite nice. And before anyone comments, how do you know it's red? Yeah, I can see, listen guys, I can see some shades of red, all right? It's not that it's completely invisible to me. It's just that I can't read this while you guys can read this. And before you ask, I had to have someone send me this picture so that I knew I couldn't read it and that they could. But with that out of the way, I really like this suit. I like the kind of overly geometric kind of style it has to it, but also the more human-like attribute. It kind of looks like Pepsi Man. Now that I'm looking at it, it does look like Pepsi Man. Actually, can we just get Pepsi Man instead of Spider-Man? That would be, yeah, can we, hey, rivals, can we just, yeah, yes, Pepsi Man. Yes, that's P-E-P-S-I. And then M-A-N. You don't know how to spell man? Yes, man, M-A-N. Yes, perfect. Okay, yeah, so actually not 2099 white suit. We're actually just gonna get Pepsi Man in there. And I'm sorry, this is the dumbest joke I've ever made. So yeah, please add the 2099 white suit, I guess. Next up, we have the big time suit, otherwise known as the stealth costume, the stealth outfit, the black suit, even though it's, you know, it's not the black suit, it's the big time suit. I cannot get over how cool this design is. Maybe I'm just a nerd. Maybe I just like the really cut edgy kind of styles of this, but I just think it works really well with Spider-Man's overall aesthetic, especially with the different colorations. Though in my opinion, the green sort of main color of it is probably my favorite, even though the blue is also really dope. I'm also kind of a fan of the pinkish, is that pink? See, now I'm self-conscious that you guys are gonna start talking about how I'm colorblind, but overall I just think this outfit's really cool. I really like the spider pattern on it, and I hope that they would adapt this pretty well. One thing I could see them doing wrong, though, is not having a very dark color scheme to it. I think this suit thrives at its best when it's very, very dark and then very, very bright where it needs to be. Sometimes with games like this, they tend to over-design, and I think it's better to just keep this one simpler. There's no need to go above and beyond with any kind of overly detailed parts of it. It's fine the way it is. I would reference the PlayStation version of it. That one's really good. So yeah. Anyway, I really like this suit, and if any of them make it in, I would hope that this would have a pretty similar design to its original. I wouldn't want them to change this one up too much or take too much of an artistic liberty on it. I like it the way it is. Next up, we have Cyborg Spider-Man, and I'm not talking about the stupid, humongous, ugly one from Across the Spider-Verse. What? Whose idea was this? The normal sized Cyborg Spider-Man is perfect to me. I love it. It's got a huge amount of nostalgia just because of its older design. It has a very kind of 90s aesthetic to it, or I guess maybe not the aesthetic, more so design identity because of its older concepts. It has a much more, I guess, old view of the future. Like, take a look at his robotic arm. I don't know about you, but robotic arms don't really look like this when I first think of robotic arm. When I think robotic arm now, I think of Bucky, but in the 90s, robotic arm looked like this. I also really like the fractured eyeball on the right side and the kind of like eye patch goggle on the left side. I think that's really cool. The battle damage is also a great part of this suit, and who could forget that bandana? That bandana just kind of ties the whole apocalyptic look together. So yeah, this is one of my favorite designs, and I really hope that they adapt it pretty well. Assuming they add it. I acted like it was already going to be in there. Next up, we have my baby boy. He's so beautiful. I'm not doing that. Next up, we have the one and only Ben Reilly. Yeah, baby, I love him. Look at him. He's so cool. He's just so awesome. I really actually like what they did with him Across the Spider-Verse, design-wise. And so if they were to adapt it, I would love for it to look a little bit more like this. It's very, very cool. Gives sort of Todd McFarlane vibes, I would say. I'm a huge fan of the ripped sleeves at the end of the shirt and the overall design of Scarlet Spider. I wouldn't say that there's many versions of Scarlet Spider 1 that look all that bad, and while I do like the bright colors, I'm also a huge fan of this darker shaded tint version that they have in the movie. Of all the designs of Scarlet Spider to be adapted into the game, I think this is the one that I would want more than the others, especially if we're referring to the other Scarlet Spiders, because I do not care for the Kane version. Overall, I think this is a really cool design. I actually really like the eyes on the Across the Spider-Verse version. If they were to pick one version of this, I'd probably go with this one. This is one of the ones that I have the strongest opinions on, and I think he's just so cool. Look at him. He's so muscly and dope. Next up, we have the upgraded suit from your guys' favorite Spider-Man movie, right? Far From Home introduced what is, in my opinion, the best MCU Spider-Man suit we've ever gotten. Maybe only behind the black and gold suit, but I would argue this one is much cleaner. It's very detailed and beautifully colored, but it's not detailed so much that it ends up crowding the eye. It's got more minute details. Think of the difference between the black suit in the Spider-Man 2 games and the black suit in the original comic book. What the upgraded suit accomplishes is a beautiful balance of color with a, I would say, like mid-red and a black that looks so good with all these silver lines in between, not to mention a silver outlined spider on the chest and a completely silver spider on the back, which just complement the colors so well. I don't know why, but it kind of gives me Christmas vibe. I don't know. He just reminds me of Christmas for some reason. Maybe it's just the holiday season, but either way, this is probably my favorite of the Spider-Man outfits from the MCU, if not the best one, like objectively speaking. I also love that it calls back to the original Amazing Fantasy design, where instead of blue, the outline is black. I like the black better than the blue, what can I say? But anyway, that's the one that I would want to get the most out of the MCU for sure. Next up, we have the black suit. I cannot be the only person who thinks this needs to get in. Now, as a side note, I would be genuinely surprised if this did not get in, but at the same time, I could see them going without it. With the inclusion of Venom, a black suit could be redundant and not necessarily required, and that's why it's only number 2. If it wasn't for that fact, it would probably be number 1 on this list, but as it is, with Venom being a character in the game, and Penny having a Venom cosmetic, and Venom having 3 cosmetics, the likelihood of this making it in is substantially decreased in my opinion. But that doesn't mean I don't want it. As a matter of fact, I want it more than any other suit. The only problem is, I don't know if it's as possible as the other ones just due to the redundant colors, which is why it takes the number 2 spot on this list. And last but not least, we have my number 1, most favorite, most requested, most wanted Spider-Man suit to make it in.
Oh, brother!
That's right, Japanese Spider-Man has held a place in my heart for a long time since I discovered he existed. Obviously, it didn't air over here, so I would have I wouldn't have any prior experience with it. But as soon as I found out about it, I became obsessed. First of all, the Super Sentai take on the series is just awesome and hilarious all at once. It's kind of like when Rock Lee fought someone while drunk. You were laughing, but it was also like really, really cool. That's kind of the same vibe I got from seeing how ridiculous Japanese Spider-Man was. First of all, his design is actually kind of clean, especially in the comic books, which he has been introduced into. His eyes are perfection. I love what they did with the eye design. And the spider on the chest is not my favorite, but it kind of fits for the more simplistic design of the costume. I gotta say, I really like the arm bracelet. Kind of gives me an Ark of the Cosmos vibe in a really good way. I also love the gun. They probably wouldn't include that. I also love the robot. Again, I don't think they would include that. And it goes without saying that this is a very original design compared to the other ones. I don't know why we haven't seen more of this, especially given how much Disney has been shoving the multiverse down our throat, but I digress. Japanese Spider-Man is a very interesting and unique kind of version of Spider-Man. I would argue that while he's design-wise very similar to the original Spider-Man, he's probably one of the most original interpretations of the character that we've ever seen. Because think of it this way, Spider-Punk is Spider-Man, sure, but he's not this Spider-Man. Japanese Spider-Man is not Peter Parker, but he's about as close as one could get to looking like Peter Parker or being in the same situation as Peter Parker. So at a glance, it would be easy to think that he is a lot like Peter Parker, when in fact he has a very different life, fighting style, design, characterization, all sorts of different things. Not to mention his rogues gallery might be the most unique one that the Spider-Man series has had in ages. A lot of what the other alternate versions of Spider-Man have are just different versions of Spider-Man's own villains or different people playing those sort of roles. Japanese Spider-Man is different in this way as it is almost entirely original. It is also crafted sort of a cult following around the fact that it has almost nothing to do with original Spider-Man, and I love it for that reason. He looks a lot more serious, a lot more deadly, like he could genuinely beat your butt and enjoy doing it. And that's kind of what I like about it. He may look like a hero, and he may act like a hero, but it looks like in a fight, he would not fight like a hero. Marvel has been sleeping on this guy. We definitely need some kind of like Japanese Spider-Man anime. That would go so hard. But anyway, that's just me rambling. I think Japanese Spider-Man is cool. You should think Japanese Spider-Man is cool. If you don't, I will carpet bomb your house, pipe bomb your mailbox, break your metal pipes, drop them on the floor, and all sorts of other atrocities. You should go like Japanese Spider-Man. You should go up to someone today and say, "Hey, I like Japanese Spider-Man. Tell me what you know about Japanese Spider-Man," and see if you can like catch them. Actually, see if you can like get them to ask about him, because that would actually be so cool. Spread the word of Japanese Spider-Man. But without further ado, that is going to do it for today's video. I'm sorry it was such a short one and that I haven't been uploading as much. I have a lot on my plate and a lot that I'm editing right now, so it's just kind of been a lot. I'm going to do everything in my power to finish uploading the videos that I'm working on right now, editing more of them, and maybe streaming more often too. My voice hurts like crazy, as you can probably tell while listening to this, but I am trying my darndest. I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me, and I'm hopeful that I can live up to your guys' expectations and deliver you guys some more good old content. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to my insane ramblings about a random costume I like for a character in a video game that hasn't even come out yet. What costumes would you like to see them add? Should Spidey be playable in his underwear? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Alright. Stay funky.